Hello, everybody. Happy Hump Day. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point Huffman. I'm going to be rolling the Fantasy Football Ranking Show by myself as we're going to break down week number 17 in the National Football League. Hopefully, you guys are all still alive in your fantasy football playoffs and you're in the finals, or your season is over and you're waiting, seeing what's going on with some ranking stuff for daily. We're here to help you out with that. Again, David On Point Huffman. Also, if you not noticed, we are back on Facebook. We were off Facebook for a hot minute, and then we are back now. So very excited about that. So please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And please like Prime Sports World and like us over on YouTube and like us over on Twitter at PSW_David, as we are trying to give you guys the best content we can, including tomorrow. We're going to bring you the crossover tomorrow with me and Mr. Code, Mr. TJ Hopkins, breaking down a bunch of stuff going on in the National Basketball Association. As we just had our Christmas Day games. We're talking about the Atlanta Hawks going on, some stuff going on there. And then there's some news and notes going around in the National Basketball Association over the last couple weeks since the last time we did a crossover episode. So keep an eye out for that content. It should go live around 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But that's not what this show is about. This show is about fantasy football. And we're going to talk about the rankings. Me and the CEO, Prime Sports World, Israel Rivera, unfortunately could not make it to this show. So I will be telling you what his rankings are as we go through the show here. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's get into the rankings. Let's talk first about them quarterbacks. My number one quarterback is actually shockingly the same as Izzy's number one quarterback. I got Justin Fields at number one. And shockingly, I got Trevor Lawrence at number two. I think he's going to put up big numbers against a bad Houston Texans team, even though they have been better as of late. I still don't believe in them. 3, Patrick Mahomes. 4, Joe Burrow. 5, Josh Allen. 6, Justin Herbert. 7, Jared Goff. 8, Gardner Minshew makes the top 10 in my fantasy football rankings. 9, Daniel Jones. I look for him to put up some big numbers against the Indianapolis Colts. And then 10, Dak Prescott. I know I'm kind of low on Dak Prescott, but I feel like the Cowboys may run the ball a lot against the Tennessee Titans, so you may not ask him to do a lot. So we'll see how that game ends up checking out. But yeah, I got him at number 10. And then on the other side, Izzy, the CEO, he's got Justin Fields, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, who are playing, obviously Josh Allen and Joe Burrow playing against each other this week. So that's interesting. 5, Justin Herbert. 6, Trevor Lawrence. 7, Jared Goff. 8, Kirk Cousins. 9, Dak Prescott. And then he's got Gardner Minshew rounding out his top 10 at number 10. Let us know anybody you think we left out of our top 10 in the comments section. Anybody we're a little disrespectful on when it comes to the top 10. Let's talk about outside looking in. My outside looking in, number 1, I got Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, and Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's been awesome. I expect that to continue as San Francisco looks to lock up the number 3 and possibly the number 2 seed, depending on things shake out. Kirk Cousins should have a good game there against the Green Bay Packers. And Geno Smith, a game they basically have to win against the New York Jets. Look for him to bounce back. It's been an up and down stretch for Geno Smith. And then on Izzy's side of this, he's got Aaron Rodgers. Of course, he's got Aaron Rodgers. He's a Green Bay Packers fan. But he could have a good game there against Minnesota, who have been vulnerable to the passing game a little bit there over the last couple of weeks. 2, Geno Smith. 3, Brock Purdy, same as me. But this where we switched it up is our sneaky and daily. Gardner Minshew, 5,500 on DraftKings. On his side, he always plays FanDuel. Carson Wentz at 6,500. So if you're looking for those options on FanDuel/DraftKings, pretty good options there. Gardner Minshew at 5,500 and Carson Wentz at 6,500. Hopefully this guy's helped you out with the quarterback position. Let us know if you think we left anybody out of our rankings. We'd love to get feedback from our fans. And also, if you have any questions about who to start, I'll take a look at that stuff after the show or during the show. Just please commit that stuff. And then my running back rankings. So let's talk about them. Running backs. My number 1 running back is the same as Izzy's number 1 running back. Chris McCaffrey at number 1. I got Travis Etienne Jr. at number 2. I know that may seem high, but I expect him to be fully involved in that passing attack and the offense for the Jacksonville Jaguars as they take on the Houston Texans. Should be a good matchup for the Travis Etienne. So if you have him, I would absolutely start him. So roll the dice with Travis Etienne. 3, Austin Eckler. It's a good matchup there, and the Chargers are going to need to start running the football a little bit better. I think they're going to try to commit to that this week, going up against the Los Angeles Rams. 4, Saquon Barkley. 5, Joe Mixon. 6, Aaron Jones going up against the Minnesota Vikings, a game that Green Bay has to have. 7, Dalvin Cook. Green Bay still struggles against the run. I think Dalvin Cook could have a good game there. David Montgomery going up against the Detroit Lions. David Montgomery, they gave up 350 yards rushing to the Carolina Panthers last week. Look for David Montgomery to have the same kind of success in the running game against the Detroit Lions there in week number 17. Now, 9, Jerry McKinnon. He stepped nicely into that role as the pass-catching running back guy. I do think that Isaiah Pacheco still has some value, but I think the guy I'd rather start, especially in PPR, is Jerick McKinnon. And 10, Ramondre Stevenson. I know he's basically cost in the last 2 games in a row, but he's still probably the best running back they have. And as long as Damian Harris continues to be out, I would roll the dice with Ramondre Stevenson. On Izzy's side of this, he's got Chris McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley. He's a little bit lower on Travis Etienne than I am, but I just think that offense is going to be running a lot through Travis Etienne there against Houston. 6, James Conner, a little bit higher than I am on James Conner. I'm not totally sure if he plays in this game or not. So we'll see how that ends up shaking out. Nick Chubb, 8, Ramondre Stevenson, 9, Joe Mixon, number 10, Josh Jacobs. I have a little bit less high on Josh Jacobs given the matchup against the San Francisco 49ers. I think that could be problematic for Josh Jacobs. And then outside looking in, obviously I got Josh Jacobs, Alvin Kamara, and James Conner. I'm worried about the injury concerns with James Conner, but I do think he plays. I do think he's going to be productive no matter who the quarterback is for the Arizona Cardinals. Then my sneaky and dailies for 5,300. It's DeAndre Swift going up against the Chicago Bears, who also don't exactly have the best running defense in the National Football League, as we saw what Buffalo did to them last week. And then outside looking in for Izzy's side of this, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, and Kenneth Walker. His FanDuel sneaky data as Hassan Haskins playing for the Tennessee Titans. I think that will be a team that runs the ball more than they probably would if Ryan Tannehill was still their quarterback. So that's a pretty solid gamble right there. And Hassan Haskins, at 4,900, real cheap in daily. Moving on to the wide receivers, I got my number 1 wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think the Detroit Lions, the Chicago Bears have been pretty vulnerable against the receiving game here. Amon-Ra should have a good game there against the Chicago Bears. Number 2, CeeDee Lamb. 3, Justin Jefferson. CeeDee Lamb for sure. Great matchup there against the Tennessee Titans, who don't have the best secondary in the NFL, to say it nicely. 3, Justin Jefferson. 4, Tyreek Hill. 5, Jamar Chase. I do think that Cincinnati-Buffalo game could be a mini shootout. So look for those guys to both be productive. I may have forgotten to put Stephon Diggs there in my top, my fantasy football rankings because I did that a little bit after I got off work and I may have it just slipped my mind. But if I could put Stephon Diggs, I would put him probably at number 5 or 6. My apologies about that. But yeah. So A.J. Brown, I got A.J. Brown at number 6, 7, Keenan Allen, 8, DeAndre Hopkins, 9, Garrett Wilson. I think he bounces back after what was a pretty mediocre game against the Jacksonville Jaguars and a game the Jets also have to have against the Seattle Seahawks. And then Terry Scary McLaurin rounds out my top 10. And I mentioned, I completely forgot to put Stephon Diggs in there. I would probably have him at 6. So that pushes Terry McLaurin out of my top 10 and into the outside looking in. And then Izzy's rankings, he's got Justin Jefferson, a good matchup there against the Green Bay Packers. 2, Jamar Chase. 3, Stephon Diggs. 4, CeeDee Lamb. 5, Amon-Ra St. Brown. A little bit lower on Amon-Ra St. Brown than I am. But I just think the matchup there for Amon-Ra should be really, really juicy with Jared Goff and that passing attack. 6, Tyreek Hill. 7, Keenan Allen. 8, Devontae Adams. 9, A.J. Brown. And number 10, rounding out his top 10 is DK Metcalf. Pretty solid top 10 there for Mr. CEO, Prime Sports Movers, Rivera. And then swinging into the outside, looking in, I got Christian Kirk. I do think that's a good matchup there against the Houston Texans. The passing game is the way you beat the Houston Texans for the majority of the season. 2, G.J. Moore had a really good game last week against the Detroit Lions. Look for him to continue that kind of success against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And 3, Amari Cooper. I think although Donovan Peoples-Jones is probably a good option here. Obviously, when I talked about Stephon Diggs, would kick this guy out of my top outside looking in. So if you have a better option, I'd probably roll with it outside of Amari Cooper. And then Izzy's outside looking in. He's got DeAndre Hopkins, Jalen Waddle, and T. Higgins. Both, Jalen Waddle going up against in a high power offense, going up against the New England Patriots. T. Higgins going up against Buffalo, which should be a mini shootout in that game. And then our sneaky and daily, I got Isaiah Hodgins. Seems to be a guy that Daniel Jones has built a rapport with. Has been productive over the last couple of weeks. So 4,500 there for Isaiah Hodgins. And then Greg Dortch for the Arizona Cardinals there at 5,300. Seems to have a rapport there with Trace McSorley. So you could probably do worse than that in 5,300. It's pretty cheap and daily. Moving over to the tight ends, and of course, we both have the same number 1 and number 2, as Travis Kelce will be the number 1 tight end until the end of time, and probably George Kittle will be number 2 tight end until the end of time. So keep those guys in your lineup if you got them. They're your studs. They got you where you are now, so don't get cute. So number 1, I got Travis Kelce. 2, George Kittle. 3, Evan Ingram. I know I've been awfully high on Jacksonville Jaguars in this ranking show, but I do think they're going to put up some big points against the Houston Texans there. 4, T.J. Hockenson. Do I expect him to get 2 touchdowns in this game against the Green Bay? No, but I do think he gets in the end zone. I think he has over 100 yards rushing or receiving. So that's a good option there for you if you're looking for somebody at the tight end position. And then number 5, Dallas Goedert. Still, even with Gardner Minshew as the quarterback there, he still had a pretty good rapport with Gardner Minshew. So he still had a pretty good fantasy day. 3, Bobby Schultz's cousin, Dalton Schultz. He's just been a productive tight end basically since he got the starting job over Connor Barwin tore his ACL that one season. And basically Dalton Schultz has not looked back since. Tyler Higbee, it seems to be a favorite target there of Baker Mayfield's. So keep rolling with Tyler Higbee if you've been doing that so far this season. 8, Pat Freiermuth, seems to be a favorite target there for Kenny Pickett. So continue rolling with him. David Njoku. 10, Mark Andrews. Yeah, really low on Mark Andrews this week. That Baltimore Ravens offense without Lamar Jackson is just not interesting to me at all. And I'm avoiding everything I can in that offense. I don't think any of those guys are worth starting. That's just my honest opinion on it. And then moving on from my rankings in the top 10 to Izzy's rankings in the top 10. Number 1, Travis Kelce. 2, George Kittle. He's got T.J. Hockenson a little bit higher than I do, but that's fine. 3, Mark Andrews, also a little bit higher on Mark Andrews than I am. I'm totally out on that Raven offense right now. Bobby Schultz's cousin, Dalton Schultz, rounds out his top 5. Number 6, Pat Freiermuth. 7, Evan Ingram. 8, Dallas Goedert. 9, Tyler Higbee, and then Cole Kmet rounds out his top 10. Arguably enough, Cole Kmet happens to just be my on my outside looking in. I got Darren Waller, who returned to action 2 weeks ago and has been productive since he returned. I don't know what the rapport will be with Jarrett Stidham, now the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders now. But I think if you got Darren Waller and you've gotten this far in the fantasy season, you still have Darren Waller as an option, I would roll with him. 2, Cole Kmet. Him and Justin Fields have a really good rapport there with those two guys. 3, Taysom Hill. And then on Izzy's side of this, you got Darren Waller, David Njoku, and Taysom Hill. With his sneaky and daily being Zane Solstra at 4,800, my sneaky and daily being Delaney Woods at 2,800. Quietly had a very good rookie season there for the Indianapolis Colts, and seems to be somebody that Nick Foles is going to be looking for if he's going to be the starting quarterback the rest of the way. So continue rolling out with him if you got that option. Moving into our defensive rankings, our top 2 are again the same when it comes to me and Izzy's rankings. I swear we did not do these together. We do our rankings completely separate. I'll say outside my rankings, I got number 1. I got the San Francisco 49ers. They are just a dominant defensive unit, and they're going up against an offense that's starting at quarterback that has a lot of question marks. Jarrett Stidham. And then the Dallas Cowboys at number 3, Philadelphia Eagles at number 3, Jacksonville Jaguars at number 4 going up against the Houston Texans, and 5 the Giants. I think sneakily the Giants going up against the Indianapolis Colts could be a very nice fantasy day for that defense, as they're going up an offense that has been turning the ball over in droves, especially 3 picks in that game on Monday. Look for very similar production for the Giants. And then on the other side, he's got the 49ers and the Cowboys at 1 and 2. Obviously, Malik Willis going into the Cowboys. That's not a great matchup for Malik Willis to go up against one of the best defenses in the league. 3 Kansas City, 4 going against Denver, who just fired their coach. Philadelphia Eagles at number 4, 5 the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then outside looking in, I got the Chiefs, Patriots, and Commanders. And Izzy on the other side has the Buccaneers, Ravens, and Patriots. So those are outside looking in when it comes to defensive rankings. And my sneaky and daily is the 49ers for some reason are 2,900 on DraftKings, which is not even like they're one of the bottom cheapest defenses that you can buy. I don't really know what's going on. Is DraftKings just being generous? They're giving you like a free space, but 2,900 for the 49ers is stupid cheap. And then on the other side, Izzy, his Dallas Cowboys, 4,000 there on FanDuel. That's actually a pretty good value, too, when it comes to a top-flight defense is playing up against a quarterback that has been prone to turning the football over there in the Tennessee Titans and Malik Willis. So that's a pretty good option if you don't have any other options in FanDuel. Cowboys 4,000, and then in DraftKings, 4,900 for the San Francisco 49ers, which is absurdly cheap for me, in my opinion. But yeah, that's been our Week 17 fantasy football rankings. Hopefully this helps you get into the championship, or you're already in the championship. Hopefully this propels you to your championship. We want everybody to win a championship using our rankings, using our system. Let's talk a little bit about scoring leaders as we wrap up every single show the same way. We talk about the players that scored the most fantasy points the week prior. This week, actually, TJ Hawkinson, who actually had a highest scoring season or week earlier this season. I think we still remember the Detroit Lions. And actually, if you go to his profile, like on fantasy, he still has his Detroit Lion uniform on the picture. But yeah, he's put up 35.9 points in fantasy points this week. He had 13 catches for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just been a beast basically since he got to Minnesota. Cam Akers, number 2. CeeDee Lamb, number 3, Justin Jefferson, number 4, and Devontae Smith rounding up the top 5 when it comes to scorers in fantasy this past week. But when it comes to this week, who do we think is going to be the highest scoring fantasy player this particular week? Let me know down in the comment section who you think it's going to be. I'm going to roll with Christian McCaffrey being the highest scoring fantasy player. I think his role in the offense is going to be really versatile through the passing game, in the passing and running game. Look for Chris McCaffrey to have 150 all-purpose yards and maybe 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground and 1 in the air. That will spark a pretty good game there for Christian McCaffrey. But let me know who you think is going to be the number 1 scoring player in fantasy this week down in the comments section. As I mentioned earlier, I'm David Huffman, and welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed having us back on the Facebook as we've been MIA here for a little while. We're officially back, so I'm pretty happy about that. I've been David Huffman. This has been Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to all of our platforms, including Twitter at PSW_David and YouTube at Prime Sports World on YouTube. And also, please like, share, and subscribe to everything you can. And please, tell your friends about us because we're going to put out some good content. Including tomorrow, we're going to be bringing you the crossover. You don't want to miss that content. Again, I'm David Huffman, and we bring the heat here at Prime Sports World. And let me tell you, it is 40 degrees here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I live. And it is just getting warmer and warmer. I think next week, my meteorologist said it's going to be 60 degrees on Tuesday. That is going to be a nearly 100-degree turnaround from where it was last Thursday to what it could be next Tuesday. So I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us here at Prime Sports World. We'll be back tomorrow. Me and TJ breaking down some stuff going on in the National Basketball Association. Y'all have a good night and stay safe out there. And good luck with your fantasy football matchups for this week, number 17, as we are winding down to the stretch of the NFL year. Peace out.